What's up, guys? We are over on World Flipper today to look at Libram. Libram is a unit that I want to just talk about for a little bit, just cover him, show you guys what's up with him, talk about the finicky things that are going on with this unit that I've noticed while playing with him, and just cover him in general. He is a unit. He's not hyper good and he's not hyper bad. He's just kind of there, and it's weird to use him because if you don't know what he does, if you missed my coverage breakdown of his abilities, he has the skill damage capability to hit pretty hard. And upon reading it on paper, you're going ability 2, you got 99% above that HP threshold, 99%, you get that 150 skill damage. You get 15% to skill damage for each buff on him. He's getting skill gauge. On paper, it sounds really cool. And then when you start using him, it starts to get odd. And what I mean by that is I was using the Ellya skill damage team. I was using him on the same team that I was running for the arch godly runs in the past, and I just swapped Ellya and him out. And I thought, well, they're both skill damage. They'll both, you know, maybe hit just as hard. He might hit a little bit better with these crazy modifiers. And when I started looking at the team, it does force you into this position of running units like rolls out, things that can absorb damage to maintain that 99% HP threshold. As we go over, we look at the team here, we hop on and show you guys the run. This is the team I was running on the left, and on the right, Libram is in that current run. I just literally went in and just one for one just popped him out. And before you go, well, why does he have the Thunder Fever Stick on Shisuzu? It's just there because I was using Shisuzu and Thunder builds. It's not supposed to be there. It doesn't need to be there. That can be literally blank. You don't need anything there. It's just there from when I was playing with other teams. And Libram, when he's on this team, and especially on auto, it's just the way his skill works. It's this very interesting activation where he literally spawns a closet of weapons. He creates this array of swords that appear above him, and I actually want to go back and show you something in this replay. We pause the replay here. You can see the array arc of swords that Libram has created, and if we go back and look at Libram himself and we look at his active skill, it says deploy 7 blades before him, inflicting light damage on foes hit, increases Libram's attack with every hit dealt. Now, if you shoot this off and only 1 or 2 swords on the left or right hand side hit, the damage is drastically lower. You're going to want all swords to hit. So really wide, big bosses, this guy can rake his whole skill into those bosses and do a lot of damage. And when you can't do that, when you have swords that are fizzling, you're going to start missing out on hits. So I'm going to show you here. We pause it again, we have the left 3 swords are hitting the boss, and then you'll notice when I go forward even more, we now have more swords hitting the clones, and that's where this starts to get a little damaging. And you can see the sword on the far right is starting to shoot past the clones. That sword's going to fizzle. That's going to miss out on the damage. That's going to miss on increasing Libram's attack. And we now have this weird situation where yes, we hit the skill, but did we maximize what we could do with it? No, we didn't even have a choice because this is running on auto. This is the computer just throwing out the skill. It's in the position the computer thinks it can activate, and you're whiffing like 33% of your damage because yes, you hit the demon, but did you fully hit the demon? Not really, because you just missed your sword. So playing him on manual, you can time it to where all his swords hit the clones, hit the archdemon himself, but it's a lot of work to maintain similar damage that Ellya is putting out. And in terms of consistency, the amount of times that the computer, I'll let this play again, the amount of times that the computer has just activated Libram's skill and the skill only hits like 1 sword or 2 or 3 swords like you just saw, and there's no clones up, it really starts to dip, whereas Ellya is giving you these consistent numbers every time you hit it. And yes, I've seen Ellya's miss. My Ellya's have missed on auto. It's just happens with the way that this boss fight and the AI like to work. But when you do hit, the consistency of Ellya's numbers are much more viable than what you see here. So he's about to do his skill again. He's going to activate here. And as you can see, we have the 3 or 4 swords here. The 4th one might not clip his wing there, but you have the left side of the skill. The computer just popped it off again, and the whole right side is just whiff damage. You're literally missing, whereas Ellya just flies in and hits all her skills there. So this is just this weird thing with this unit where I like him a lot. I just feel like he's very niche and specific to large targets that can reward you for cleaving all your swords and doing really big numbers. You can hit really big numbers because, I mean, you're getting that 240% skill damage if you can max out his buffs. You can go in, keep him above 99% HP. I mean, if you look here, he has full HP because Ralzelt is tanking and granting recover. He's getting skill gauge for Elite units activating their skill. It is very possible to get him to go correctly. It's just utilizing it in a current situation that requires really cleaving down a big boss. Like when we get the Orochi Godly, that's going to be awesome because you can go in, you got 3 Orochi Vipers at the top of the screen, you just go straight up the middle, activate his skill, and now you're hitting everything. You're doing a lot of damage. You're not completely just losing out on half your skill because of the AI or because of the character model, the boss being too small. There's just a lot going on here with him that is just frustrating. I mean, see, we're hitting 3.7 million hits, but it could be so much more if the boss was bigger, if you ran it on manual, cleaved the clones, had it perfectly timed. It's just, there's a lot going on here. In terms of other teams you could put him on, you could mess around with just adding him in as a unison unit. You could get in that above 99% HP, 150% to skill damage. So if you have units that you can just go in, have units on the team like Rikisha or Hanabi that are giving you 100% skill gauge, and you're firing off skills, and you are going to be getting that immediate 150% skill damage. You could do some pretty fun, kind of cheesy things. But for all the work you have to go to get this guy to run the way he does, I don't think that it's worth the headache at the moment, at least, to just go in and play with him. I still think Ellya is more consistent. It's my personal opinion. I don't know if you guys have tried him. Let me know down below if you are using Libram. You can be like, Mr. Rateup, Libram is so much better for me. You're crazy. All that good stuff. Let me know. I'm curious what you guys are using him for, if you're using him at all. So I just feel so bad for this unit because I know he's good for a small time period in the future, and then a unit comes out later that outshines him and he just falls off and disappears, and he has this little window to shine, and then he's gone. So let me know what you guys think about Libram himself. He can clear the Godly Arch, no problem. If you go in, the auto computer will just activate the skill, and whenever it wants, whenever it thinks it's in the right position, you will miss some of those swords. So if you manual it, you probably have a little better luck. You could run him like on a light power flip team. It's just, for all the effort you're going to, I think there are better options with this guy, but I'm just sad because he looks so cool. His whole aesthetic and the way his skill looks visually is pretty badass, but it's just frustrating seeing him suffer from just this really just niche activation of his skill. Anyway, enough about him. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. If you're new here, smack the sub button. I appreciate all of you guys supporting my content. More World Flipper content to come. If you hit that thumbs up, it will bring my rates up. Peace, guys. See you in the next video.